Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us all the way from Columbia Heights, Minnesota, PaviElle French. We are so happy to have her joining us today, and we would love to know where you are tuned in from. And it looks like we have Chris having a happy hour with a Czech dark lager. Sounds
All right.
good to me.
Hey, Chris.
And Connie joining us from Richfield. And,
hey, Connie.
Yeah, it's Friday. It's been a week, and I'm so happy to be here. And apparently, so is IE Money. Woo, woot, go Pavi. And
I love it.
Bev, love PaviElle. Wiley, happy Friday from Northern Virginia. So folks tuning in from all over the place. And Linda from New Haven, Connecticut. Welcome. And this is our weekly Friday happy hour where we invite different guest artists to revisit old records. And because it's happy hour, I just poured myself. I finished off the box of Extreme Folk Rosé, but what better use than the back catalog listening party? So cheers, everyone. Tony,
Cheers.
What are you enjoying on this Friday afternoon?
I didn't have the Extreme Folk wine, but I had a box sitting on the counter, and it still had something in it. So here we go.
There you go. And PaviElle, are you enjoying any kind of beverage or snack on your Friday afternoon?
Yes, I'm just regular, schmegular, degular. I got a Canada Dry. I got some water, purified, and
Excellent.
I am in love with Nature's Bakery fig bars. So
Those are
yeah.
really good.
yeah, adult fig Newtons. Yes.
That's pretty much.
Pretty much. And looks like we also have Joe joining us from chilly South Minneapolis. Yeah, it's actually starting to feel a little more seasonal than it's been.
I saw some snowflakes coming down.
I did too earlier. Yeah, this morning.
For folks not in the Minnesota area, it was in the 50s over the last week, and it's been very strange. No snow on the ground. So
I know, and my son keeps being like, "When is it gonna snow? I want to go sledding." And it's been kind of
Poor
a
baby.
sad feeling. So
maybe next year.
yeah, exactly. But we are so excited to have PaviElle French joining us today, and also I should say, PaviElle, this is supposedly your sabbatical, but we took you out, we ripped you out of your nice rest and relaxation to join us today. So we especially appreciate you joining us to revisit your 2021 album Sovereign. And before we get to listen to any tracks, it would be great if you want to share a little bit about your origin story, like where you grew up, how you fell into making music, and in particular, what led to the making of this particular album.
Okay. Well, I have always been a performer since I was a little girl. It's the only thing that I expressed that I wanted to do from the age 2 on. I was always in my mom's records, and I have an artistic family. My mother, uncle, brother, cousin, and several other people are musicians, artists in their own right. Everybody has like a little something that we do. So it was highly encouraged. My brother is 11 years older than me, a Hansi Young. He's an actor and percussionist, musician, all kinds of stuff, dancer, everything. And he was at Central in the touring theater, I think. So when he was 16, I was 5, right? And so I was going to see him do plays at Central and do the touring theater. And I was like, okay, I want to do that. That's it. Sign me up.
Was that St. Paul Central? Is that what you?
St. Paul Central,
Hey,
yeah.
that's my alma mater.
Hey, yeah, he was class of 91.
All right, that was my
Yeah.
brother's class actually.
Oh,
Very
that's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, he went to school with like Nick Swartzen and like,
Yeah.
I think some of the folks from Mint were there when he was coming in there and like graduating and stuff. So, I mean, what a place. So many artists and dope people have come out of that place.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Support art and music in the schools, folks, because
Absolutely.
it leads to great things.
It really does. I mean, we had Jan and we had Jan Mandel, we had Red Freeberg. Like that. I specifically had Red Freeberg. My brother, he had Ben James. Was it Ben James?
Ben James in the recording. Yep.
Yeah, and Red was like his assistant, right?
Yep.
And then so Red took over the program when I got there.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Ben was
So
still there when I was there. So for folks that don't know, St. Paul Central is a amazing school. One of the maybe the oldest in the cities. I can't remember exactly. It's been around for a long time, and they've always supported the arts in a major way. And they had recording studio in there where I got to play drums during my high school years. And it sounds
yeah,
like you probably got to be doing that, and that must have
absolutely.
encouraged kind of your path in life, eh?
Oh, definitely. That's the whole reason that I ended up being a producer, for my own music, and really why I dug into being a musician, because I had the ability to have the beat machines and, all the different things that I had access to. So I was just in there making music,
That's
and I was
awesome.
just like, okay, I could just keep doing this. So, through time, and I always say that I just had kind of an enchanted life as far as being around artists and being around folks at Penumbra Theater, because as my brother went into Penumbra Theater and became a company member back when he was still a kid, so then I'm going to the theater, I'm around Lou Bellamy and James, Austin Williams, and Jim Craven, and Terry Bellamy, and um, Lori Carlos, and like all these wonderful people who were encouraging me um, to find my own self and to find my own art. And so that, because that happened so young, as I was being trained, I was also like being a rebel and looking into avant-garde, and like reading all these different books that my mom would give me because she was an educator. So like a lot of Black history, a lot of history, a lot of philosophy, and then a lot of uh, just music from the early 1900s. Anything that was like really American music, Black music, I studied, all throughout time, and it just stuck. And then I became a like real life performer, worked with city songs with Robert Robinson. He had a
Mm.
kid choir, and so I
Mm.
started being a soloist and finding my way. Joined Penumbra Theater Summer Institute a couple years, moved on to Stepping Stone Theater, and then got into high school with Red and all that stuff. Got into a group called Poetic Enterbrainment when I was 16,
Mm.
and we did a couple of tours, Pac Northwest, and kind of played all over the country. So that was my in as a teenager, like to the performing arts and gigging and travel and doing all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be a starving artist. That was what I learned.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's an
okay,
important lesson to learn, right?
Yeah.
yes, when you sleep in vans and when you sleep in houses of like frats and people who are really nice and kind and open to you and will open up places to stay, but you've got to have one eye open because stuff is crawling.
Yep.
Just the things you learn as a kid. These are the learning lessons of life, but it really helped me like decide what I was going to do as far as my artistic career, and how it was always going to be a part of my life, and how I always wanted to not necessarily go for fame, but to go for stability and
Mm.
go for sustainability, and how can I do this for the rest of my life, and it also helped me live and have a good well-being. And so that's kind of like how I've gotten here. I just been gigging for 25, 30 years.
Wow.
and, and I have really turned a corner as far as like my art is concerned. Over the last 10 years, I've built this whole sovereign series of work since the death of my parents in 2010 and 2011. I wrote Fear Not, like to process that, and then got really into this whole thing about processing my life and the things that happen, um, just in a way where I can put it into the music and deal with it there so that I can move forward, and especially with things that are so life altering, like grieving and death of family, and, the changes that that brings about. Like the music and the art has really helped me self possess and step back into myself after losing myself for so long, dealing with the grief in that. And now the Sovereign series is really a reflection of how art can not only change your life and help you move through um, the hard things that we deal with, but also how it can build this whole new thing. Because now my art is taking off in a way where I've never even imagined it to go. Um, or I never even imagined being an artist in this way, where I'm facing my community and I'm facing young people and I'm going, how can I breathe life into you through the work that I do and the resources that I get, as opposed to me just getting on and gigging and keep getting on and keep getting, like,
Hmm.
how can I build folks into the fold to take up with me and to share this work with them so that they can do this themselves as artists. And because being introspective and walking through things and being clear, it does things for your art. It does things for your life, but it does things for your art.
Hmm.
you know
Amen. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, well, I'm so excited to dig into this record that you've chosen today. It's called Sovereign, and you mentioned this sort of Sovereign series. So this is the album called Sovereign that came out in 2021. Was this where does this fit into the Sovereign series? Is this what kicked it off, or is this somewhere in the middle?
So I like to think that it's probably somewhere in the middle. I want to say that Fear Not was the first real Sovereign piece, because that was me standing alone on my own without my parents, and feeling one in that moment, even though I have friends and family and people that love me, of course. But just you are here. This is the path. So then by the time we got to Sovereign, that was literally a response, and like a response record to the pandemic and to the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the civil unrest and the things that happened specifically, in our country, but in our city, in the Twin Cities here. So it was just me really watching everything unfold and writing as I watched everything unfold.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a listen to this first track that you picked to feature from this record, Code Switch. Is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
Yeah, Code Switch. It's one of my favorites. It's like my favorite song on here, and it was really about breaking free from the boxes that people put artists in, especially Black artists and women artists, and the things that, as long as we're one of the good ones, and that's really what this was. It's like, Code Switch, I'm tired of it, and I don't need your name on my stuff.
Well, let's give it a listen. This is PaviElle French, Code Switch, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I'm hurting bad inside. I don't know if I am gonna make it through the strife. Emergency, can't you see? I'm going down real slow. I wanna help myself, but I don't know where to go. One day I stared into my reflection. I didn't know this woman I was seeing. Yeah. Who is she? It made me sad that I already was. Mama came to me in a dream and told me what I need to give up. These things that are not enough. She said to me, can't you see that you're already whole? Yeah. Stop looking for the outside to validate what's in your soul. Emergency, get free. This environment's got me sick. My liberty and autonomy, I'm willing to take away. It's time to get off of the grid. Do more than just post on social. Real life is greater than these likes. Come out from under the stronghold. It's time to get off of the grid. Do more than just post on social. Real life is greater than these likes. Come out from under the stronghold. Yeah, I'm feeling kinda antsy and like I'm backed into a corner. Options dwindling now. Any minute I can explode. This world is full of madness. I'm an overload. my well. Emergency. Silent pinky playing it all. Emergency. Until one day you're fully and gone. Emergency. And what you chose to not work on. Emergency. I can see that my vibrance is gone. Emergency. I wanna get it right in my life. Emergency. Gotta face these fears head on this time. Emergency. If not now, then when will you hear? Open your heart so you can feel. If not now, then when will you hear? Open your heart so you can feel.
PaviElle French here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, and we did a switch on you. I know we said we were going to play Code Switch, but instead we played Emergency.
I had
and
a little
not
emergency over here and flipped the tracks. It's a wrong
Technical
order,
emergency.
sorry, folks. But that was amazing.
but what a
PaviElle,
way to
holy
kick
moly.
things off. Wow.
Hey, that
So
was great. Yeah, that
So-
was the best way. That was actually what the universe needed to
Clearly.
To do.
I think that
it's
must. Thank
what
you.
we all needed.
I would like to think so. I certainly did.
well, and clearly Alinda said makes me want to get on my feet and dance. So that's good. If we get people on their feet right away and get them moving, kick off their weekend right.
right.
So why don't we talk a little bit about Emergency,
Yes.
since that's what we just heard. Tell us a little bit about this tune, and this is actually one of my favorites from the record. What can you tell us about this song?
So I don't even understand how I make some beats. There are certain things like Emergency, Code Switch, where I go into a zone and then I come out of it and it's like, hey, that's what you did. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, even still, I have issues, and I don't think it's imposter syndrome, but I do have issues with understanding how I've created something. You know what I mean? And that was with Emergency. It was so I did it on the machine, and you have to do patches of, just small, like they can be 16, they could be 8, they could be 4 counts of music. So like I literally patched that whole thing together, all those different beats, all that different stuff. And so I was feeling like that first lick. So once I heard that, I was like, oh, that reminds me of Prince. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that reminds me of Prince. And I wasn't going for that or trying to make something to sound like Minneapolis Sound or anything like that. But it was just like, just go in that direction, and it's just all the way I heard it, and on that backbeat, like it sounded like chaos, like all that stuff, the guitars. And I was like, I don't do rock music. I love rock music, but I don't do rock music. And I don't sing it. It's not something that I have ever really performed. But I was just like, I'm gonna try it. And I asked my friend Charlie, I had made like this little fake little electric guitar riff, and I was like, I want you to listen to this and get it in your body. So he came back in and actually recorded the guitar lick over that. And then I had Nick come in, my drummer, Nick God, come in and do some drums in there. I had James Towns, my bassist, come in there and play some bass on that. And I had a Hansi Young come in and do some percussion to lay over that. So I did all of the tracks of Sovereign like that, where it was like, I built everything on machine and then brought it in. I was like, can you play on top of this? Can you add some layers or some warmth or some texture? Or can you do a little thing here, play a solo in this spot? And stuff like that. So it was like already prefab, and then they came to help me paint and decorate.
Decorate. I like that.
Yeah.
Like you built the building and then they decorated.
Exactly. And put the frills and all the little stuff that I don't do, because I like to tell people that I am the kind of pianist or piano player or musician that I use my keys and my machine to make music for me. I am a stride piano player. I make music to accompany myself as opposed to do soloing and all the pretty stuff that a lot of piano players can do. I use this as a beat machine.
So that's interesting you say that. So and you think of when you play keyboards, you think of it much like you would the beat machine or other percussion. Like you think of it as
It is a
that.
percussion. It is, yep. And I always say that. Like piano is percussion. I don't care what anybody got to say. Like I have a drummer mind. And if I wasn't like with this, I would have probably played bass or drums
Right.
because that's where I live for a bass line and for fat drums.
And there were both of those in that last
Yeah.
track. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
So when you are, crafting or building, I like this idea of that the song is something that you're building, that you're more of a construction worker or an architect
For
rather than,
architects.
yeah,
That's what I
architect.
do in my real job. So it's the same thing.
Well, that makes sense. So, so when you're building these songs, does the melody line come part and parcel with some of the beats and the rhythms that you're building, or do you sometimes come up with that vocal line first?
All of everything that's melody and lyric wise comes after the beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the beat, the music, everything influences everything.
So the beat's the foundation, and then you're building up from there.
Yep. And usually from the piano line, I will make something completely opposite from whatever I'm doing. But it's in that key, like that's the sound, and wherever I'm at is where the piano lines are. But then, yep, I just write whatever. Yeah, and it's hard for me to like write, like even when I was a poet, like and really writing poetry and stuff, it's hard for me to write without a beat. Like even when I was
With the
slamming,
rhythm, yeah.
yeah, back in the day, I was writing slam poetry to beats, to Dilla beats. Really,
Nice.
happy post Dilla day. Yep,
Yeah.
but it's really like that. Like everything I have to have something to hear to
Yeah.
bounce around.
Well, I actually feel like rhythm is oftentimes the piece that a lot of like kind of songwriters forget about when they're not, when they're just working on lyrics and melodies and things like that. But like that really kind of holds everything together. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, our friend Chris here, who's one of our Patreon supporters, about this just last week, where when you can think of the symmetry sometimes of a verse or a couplet, it can actually kind of help bring it all together, and I love that you start there. Just kind of cut through the chase. Just start with that and build on top of it. Solid.
Absolutely, because sometimes the words and the melody is in between the spaces, and that's one thing I've learned a lot, like especially the type of music I write and how I write, the stuff is in the spaces in between, I can get in there. And I think, having a background in hip hop and being a real hip hop enthusiast, a lot of my writing is based in that, being a poet, all that stuff. It's all rhythm and poetry. It's all that for me. So like any song is a rap, even if I sing it, because like if you listen to Code Switch, I'm rapping the entire time, but I'm not. I'm also, you know what I mean? But it's still, it's all iambic. It's all a cadence. It's all this stuff for me. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, maybe we
Yeah.
should get to the song Code Switch, which
Now I want to hear it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, we want to hear how this song ended up getting built. And folks out there, if you're joining the back catalog listening party today, tell us where you're tuned in from. If you are enjoying the music, if you have questions for PaviElle as we go along today, throw them in the comments. We'll get to as many of them as we can. And Chris, responding to what you were saying, Tony, been working on that symmetry for something new. So exactly.
Excellent. Way to go,
If we can
Chris.
inspire you to do more of that song building and rhythm building, then our job here is done. So
Yeah, and I think we're about to get a master class in such things right here. This time for real, we're going to listen to Code Switch from PaviElle French here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
It's a convoluted time, I'm reaching in, and I need my space, my back's against the wall, going through the same things you face, no need for pedestals, I'm out here trying to find my place, I will make mistakes, all I ask is to receive grace, 'cause I can't be what searching for knowledge. I gotta follow my nose. But now my shoulders are tired. From bearing this load. And my thoughts are evolving, exhausted. I gotta protect my soul. I can't be what you want me to be at all. And I've got to be free, and I'm not waiting on none of you. The atmosphere was so noisy. I had to come to a stop. My silence wasn't a cop out. Got quiet to hear my God. Because I needed direction. And I needed my mama. Because I lost the love of my life. I had to rise from the fall. All this angst up in my body got me feeling like my freedom's on the line. I've got to be free. Expectations of what and who I should be. I'm up against society's colonized mind. Be feeling unhinged, but I know I'm sound. Got to change when I let my subconscious be around. Gotta put the social down, no dialogue to problem solve. Not holding my breath for this one love type utopia. It's been too long. Want me to leave home, to mask on, my black skin, friends unknown. Gotta be safe and know my place, want me to tap dance and shine on. You tell me what I need to be to stay amongst your good ones. Gotta play the game to get the funds, gotta have your name up in my stuff. This day today is so abusive, but it won't weaken my will to live. This day today is so abusive, but it won't weaken my will to live. This day today is so abusive, but it won't weaken my will to live. My life means so much more than just surviving. I've been squirming through this discomfort of doing all this inner work to raise my health. Can't be mad cause I play myself into believing, speaking, writing on my life changes the hearts and minds of those who privilege depends on my demise. What is there to discuss? Haven't you heard enough? Words don't mean much in your bubble stuck, and you've been lost touch. I'm not gonna front, not bearing the brunt of your political stunts and your germs and guns. This one's for us, you're not our savior, so don't give a say. You didn't listen when I said it nicely. There's only so much anger I can put into my writing. You don't like it, fight me. Your cognitive dissonance is frightening. Don't know whether to fight, flight, or strike it like lightning. You didn't listen when I said it nicely. There's only so much anger I can put into my writing. You don't like it, fight me. Your cognitive dissonance is frightening. Don't know whether to fight, flight, or strike it like lightning. Lightning. Come on now. It's a convoluted time I'm reaching in, and I need my space, my back's against the wall. Going through the same things you face, no need for pedestals. I'm out here trying to find my place. I will make mistakes, all I ask is to receive grace.
Yeah.
All right. PaviElle French here on the back catalog listening party with Code Switch from her 2021 release Sovereign, and so much going on in that track. You know, I was actually thinking as I was listening, because there's so many different parts to it, and so many, and there was so much kind of drama in the track, and I just mean in that lots of different emotions and feelings, and that clearly like you're sorting out in the song. But it really reminded me, you were mentioning about your background and your family's background in the theater. I felt like this kind of had a musical theater element to it, in that it has, like, in the beginning there was like a chorus, and then there's your voice singing your part, like, and then it's like, I don't know, and it really felt like movements, of a bigger, even though it's just one track, it felt like there's so many little different things going on in it at the same time. I don't know if that's what you were thinking when you wrote it, but that's definitely how I felt. It felt very theatrical.
Oh yeah, I thank you. I totally meant that part.
Good.
But in writing the song, it was another song that I put together where it was just like, hey, I had just bought that, and was just like, hey, I'm just gonna make a beat. And it was one of the earliest beats I made. And it was just like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can make 16 different patches and make one song. And so I just kept going and kept making different splices of this thing all the way. And that's exactly what it is. I didn't change anything. I didn't add anything. That exact 4 minute whatever thing. It was just that.
So
But
all of
then
that came from like one beat, the
one,
inspiration.
Yeah.
that was just, yeah.
That's it's so
Wow.
amazing, and I think this gets at something that's come up with many of the guests we've had on the show, although using different instruments and tools. That sometimes, anytime you work in a new medium, whether it's a new instrument or a new piece of technology, it opens up something fresh in your brain. You know,
Yes.
just because
Yes.
you're so excited to play with it. You know?
Yeah, and I was just like, what does this do? And there's so many, like it's native instruments. So like it has so many different packs of things that sound so real,
Hmm.
so true to form. And it's still blowing my mind because there's so many things to learn on it that I've had it for 5 years and I still don't know the extent of what it all can do. I know some things and I've gotten pretty good at it, but it still has things that, like I got to learn how to be able to record into this thing and make my own loops and voice stuff. Like it's a whole nother level to that.
Was
Well,
there any real instruments on this track?
Yes,
I mean, like
yes,
your musicians
yep,
playing.
yep. I had everybody come in. My brother, yep. So there's percussion, no drums, but definitely
That bass.
bass.
Yeah,
Bass.
I was
Oh.
gonna say that bass had to be
Yeah,
had
that's
to be
James
real.
Towns. Yeah, and I asked for that because I the basses on here, they were just like sub basses, and so you can still hear them a little bit up under that. But I
Mhm.
wanted
Hmm.
the fatness of it, and I had
Oh.
him do it with a fretless,
Oh yeah.
so it could just be,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a little bit of that human element too. I mean, it really
Yeah.
it ties everything together so well, and that
Mhm.
kind of gets to a question I had for you, which was, you lay down this foundation, you're building the building, you got these killer musicians playing on top of it, dressing it up. But at some point, it has to be all put together and mixed in a certain way, and like the production elements of this. How did that take place for this record?
Yeah, so we went to Studio 8 VB and had it recorded and stuff there, and then had Jason McGlone mix it. And I sat with them in the entire process because I was like, if I'm gonna produce this album all the way, I'm gonna sit through the whole thing and be a part of every change, nook cranny, all that stuff. So I sat there and even to go in and be able to redo some stuff, that was the cool thing about being in the mixing studio because I could go in there and be like, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I'm tired of hearing this over and over and I want to do it before it's sealed. So they would let
Nice.
me, re-record a couple of things or, move a couple of things and stuff. But yeah, I sat in that whole process because I wanted to be like, this is what I really hear. This is what I really wanted to sound like. Because one thing that I didn't know was that when I moved all the stems from Machine over to go get it recorded, it took off all of my engineering on it. It took off all the things that I wanted, that I had the sounds tweaked to.
Reverbs and things like
Yeah,
that.
all that stuff. So
So
it
the
was dry.
effects that you
Yep,
had
yeah, it was all
put on
dry.
So did you
Yep.
redo that
So
all?
we had to redo that. Yeah, but in the mixing, and so there was times where I was like, drums originally sounded like this and it was more fatter. And so, me and Jason in there and he's just, moving stuff and like this, like this, like this, like this,
Yeah.
like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you got a second round of production on
Wow.
the sounds.
Yes, because I
Interesting.
wanted to make sure that it was what I heard and because that's what moved me. And I'm very, as a Scorpio person, I'm very serious about like things being original and authentic and true to form, even if it's raw and it's rough. I want it to sound like that.
Nice.
If it was made like that, then let's keep it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I'm guessing those were all your vocals, all those layers of vocals.
Yeah.
Yes. And
all
so
those little- the
Yeah.
birds, all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
That's so great. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was like a patch or something you brought in or a sound effect or a
No,
sample, but
I went in that studio and was ducking low and high and low and dynamics
I
and
wish-
stuff.
I
wanted
wish
it
I
to
had
be like we were in the
footage
woods.
of you making all these different sounds. It would be
So
amazing.
crazy.
So I would love to know. So when you're starting, obviously there are many processes stages to making this album, as you said, from you doing the beats and stuff yourself to bringing the musicians to the mixing and the re-recording and production, post-production stuff. But from like for the even those raw tracks, how long did it take you to even get those original parts that you then gave to the live musicians? Like, is this something you would just like do at like 3 a.m. and you're like, oh, I'm going to record the bird part now? Or like, like I have an inspiration. Or was this something you would do in like one long setting? Or did you just kind of work on it piece by piece? And how long did it take you, like for this song, as an example?
So like for this one, I wrote the beat probably, I did that in the afternoon. Then I came back to it the next day and started listening for words and for stuff. It took me probably a week, if that, to write all those words because I had already heard the rap part and I remember I wrote that in bed. I was laying in bed with my journal and I pulled it out and I wrote that whole rap in bed. And then I just started putting together the lyrics, but I was also writing rights. And I believe I was writing Garveyite at the same time. So like all these things, once I figured, because Garveyite was the first song that I got, because I wrote it the day that Breonna Taylor's murderers were acquitted. Like I wrote it because I was on Facebook and I was watching all the crazy comments and I'll never forget that. Like it was so like crazy and I just started writing Garveyite. What is right? Is it the only pathway to freedom is to fight and give up my life? Like I just started writing and I would stop and I would listen to the beat and I would listen to 4 bars, stop, write 4 bars, listen to the beat, 4 bars, stop, write 4 bars. So this whole process took about 9 months and all of my writing, every piece, every commission, every album takes that gestation period. It really takes about 9 months. And then, we did it. I had finished Garveyite and took a trip to Arizona, found out that I won the McKnight.
Which is a big deal for folks who don't know.
Yeah.
That's like a big grant that allows artists to actually do art.
Yes.
But it's a very competitive and prestigious grant to get. So,
Yes.
But that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I had found that out. And that day was like, okay, now you have a song and now you have a grant. So now you don't have any excuse. You can't sit there. You can't just be like, Now you have the money to actually put this out. Because if I kept going, this is so serious. People need to hear it, but I'm kind of scared to put it out because I've never written anything. Like I've always been push the envelope and talk about my Blackness and talk about being Black in this world and all the different issues that we have. Like I've never been afraid to do that. But like Garveyite it was everything. It was so everything. And I was scared to put that out as an artist and like potentially lose fans or potentially piss a lot of people off. Like I still wasn't ready to do that yet. I wasn't ready to be that person like I am now. Where I'm like, yeah, push it, tell on them, do it.
But the grant came along and it was almost like a sign from the universe to tell you you got to do this. The world needs it.
Yeah, you do. And I just was like, okay. And the band was like, okay. Like we went in and recorded that thing and it took us about 6 months and I planned it and plotted like I do. I used to be an executive assistant for a long time. And so I just planned it like that. I did all the scheduling for everyone, the studio, all the people involved, the mixers, masterers, everybody, and just was like, do these dates. This is what we're recording on these dates. This is how this is going to be. Da, 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 da. We're going to have Peter Myers come in here and do film and do this whole documentation of this because I feel like I should document it. Like it was just a thing in my head, like, hey, you should document the work that you're doing so that you can share this with other people and, build your legacy. And so I was just like, okay, cool. Have him come in. And it was one of the most beautiful things ever, just because I felt like I was free to do what I wanted to do and nobody could really hold anything over, and I also had gotten a Jerome. So like I was able to, like really put money into this and put, make it quality no matter what it was. And I think the best thing about it that made me feel so sure and so confident about it is because it was a pleasure project and it was really something that I wasn't putting out there for people to to enjoy it as just like a regular, music album. But I was putting this out here because that's what my heart wanted, and that's what my mind wanted, and that's what I felt, and no matter what, I didn't have to move based on anyone else. It was the most freeing thing I could do because I own it, and people were so wonderful to add the support and the love around it to make it be what it was.
That's so amazing. And if folks want to know more about the making of the thing, we just shared a link to the documentary I Am Sovereign. So that's kind of behind the scenes look at the making of the record.
Yeah.
If folks are interested in digging a little deeper. And if you just joined us here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, we're talking with PaviElle French, joining us today to talk about her 2021 release, Sovereign. And again, it kind of has spurred a whole bunch of other things. And we're going to talk more about some of those other things in a little bit. But we want to mention that you can buy PaviElle's music directly at PaviElleFrench.com. And if you want, and that's where you can get all the digital tracks. You can find them on Bandcamp and all those places. And we do recommend getting the high-res files.
Sounds so good.
So
It sounds
buy
so good,
them,
people.
download them. And if you want physical copies, we hear that they're available at the Electric Fetus here in Minneapolis. And if you don't live in Minneapolis, they do ship. So you can get physical copies through them and support one of our independent record stores all at once. And so, of course, support PaviElle's music as well.
Yeah, and this is hard stuff that artists have to do when they go out and they put out this music and they coordinate. You heard 6 months of logistics that PaviElle had to do,
and it's not all the sexy stuff, like she said.
So
it's like scheduling and spreadsheets.
Even if you don't have a CD player at home, buy the record. It goes a long way to show PaviElle how much you appreciate what she's doing, and if you just want to throw something in her tip jar, we've got that scrolling. She's got a PayPal and a Cash App, and I'll put that in the comments too. Man, I mean, I personally, this is money well spent, just bringing more great art into the world.
Oh, for sure.
And shout out to Desdemona because she did the artwork.
For this.
Yes.
Desdemona.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Desdemona.
beautiful artwork.
Yes, who's not only a wonderful rapper and musician, but she's also a wonderful artist. Yeah, that's her work. Yeah.
And teacher. Yeah. So
and teacher, yes, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it takes a village to make these projects, from the visual art to the supporting musicians to the engineers and all the stuff. So
it's all local. It's all local folks. Like everybody is dope and here, and please work with them.
Yes.
Yes, and I'll make a point to try to go back and get some of the names of the places and studios and stuff, and I'll put it in the show notes. So if you're just listening to this on the podcast, you can go to backcataloglisteningparty.com/197, and you can get all of these links.
Okay, and now we got to get more music because I just realized I don't know where this time is going, but we need more music.
Yeah.
But this is so, I mean, and I have a million questions, PaviElle, that we probably won't get to on today's show. So, which just means we'll have to have you back another time. But
definitely,
let's get to this song, Self-Care, because, we all need a little self-care. Is there anything you want to say about this before we take a listen?
No, but what I do like about this song is that the young folks love it. And everywhere that I go, all the young people tell me that they love this song. And, it's got a little dance vibe to it and stuff. It's got a little club vibe, and it's cute. But I really did make this for the young people, so I really appreciate that part.
Well, I think we all need a little self-care these days. So
that's right.
If you're out there, why don't you get out of your seat, do a little dancing? That's self-care, and enjoy PaviElle with Self-Care here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I've been checking in a lot because I'm serious this time about healing myself and being real and walking in my truth. It's time.
The signs are showing up for you, and you know what you got to do, don't you? Yes, I do. Will this heartbreak last? How can I make peace with my past? I need answers. Forever your woes won't last. Walking in your truth is the best path. reconcile what has taken place. You get no do-overs, and you have to face it. Be truthful to self to grow. You will have to let it go. You will have to let it go. Oh, come on. Do the work to free your mind. What you seek and peace you'll find. Peace you'll find. Let me say it again. On me. On me. Ooh. Everything just feels like a lot. Pressure mounting and I don't know where to start. Anger and sadness is mounting high. I feel so small and not myself. I just wanna hide. You've gotta take some accountability and admit to yourself that your inner child needs some help. You can start small and work your way up to them bigger pains. It's an inner thing, so take it day by day. Come on, y'all. Be truthful to self to grow. You gotta be truthful. You will have to let it go. You're gonna have to let them things go that be running around your mind. Do the work to free your mind. What you seek in peace you'll find. It's a personal journey for you to find yourself. Look inside and reflect back. Meet yourself just where you at. What you can do today, yes. Just move, baby. Move on your intuition. Through your real intention. Yeah. Hey. Whoa. Be truthful to self to grow. I want to be to let it go. Work to free your mind. What you seek and peace you'll find. I'm tired of going round and round about the same issue. Look inside and reflect back. Meet yourself just where you at. And if you need to get help, to get that help. There's something wrong with it. Move on your intuition through your real intention. Oh, I'm feeling so free, and now that I can breathe. Self to go. You will have to let it go. You gotta let yourself go, baby. Oh, do the work to free your mind. What you seek in peace you'll find. It is anything for you to heal your body and mind. Look inside and reflect back. Meet yourself just where you at.
PaviElle. Yes. PaviElle here on the back catalog listening party with Self-Care from her 2021 release, Sovereign. Man, we were all jamming to that. And I know your mic was muted as mine was, but I want to know what you were singing, because if there weren't a delay here on the interwebs, I would have wanted your mic to be hot, because I want to know, were you making up a whole new part during that, or were you just jamming?
No, I was just jamming.
So good. I
was a lot of yes, and I'll be yeah, go ahead. I'm saying stuff, so you might see other words, but I am singing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Sounds
That's
so good.
great.
Yeah,
so good. And folks, we're jamming on that, and I have to say, this whole album is just, it feels so good to listen to, and it's so, I mean, as we've heard in these 3 tracks, it's so varied in style, and you bring in so many different musical sensibilities into this record. I mean, I think when I first became familiar with your music, you were doing kind of more jazz and a little bit of R&B, but it feels like now it's expanded.
Adult contemporary.
Yeah. But I feel like it's, like, and you probably always had these elements in your music, but I feel like maybe
Yeah.
it's just because this album, you were doing everything yourself.
Yep.
You got to be like, no, I want to have some rock in this track, and I want to have
Absolutely.
some musical theater in this track, and gospel in this
Little
track. And
club in this one.
yeah, exactly. It
Yeah.
feels like
It was my
really
chance to
authentic to
prove.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really wanted to like I felt like I am an artist. I am a musician, and even though I use my
Hmm.
instruments a little bit different than other musicians, I just really wanted to put it down and be like, yeah, I am a producer. Like I am a
Yeah.
producer. I have studied well. I have studied Primo. I have studied Dilla. I have studied Pete Rock. I have studied so many folks, RZA. Like this is, I have a stake in the industry in that way, and that was something that I really wanted to push forward, that just because you know me as a singer or an artist on stage, like I am a principal musician, and that's how I
Hmm.
feel about myself. I think it's the best thing that I do outside of singing or anything else. I think that music is really my game.
Well, it sure
100%.
is.
Yeah.
I
Say
can't,
that again.
I can't disagree with that. And I will say, for folks who aren't familiar, you've, in addition to, again, doing this music, you've also, like, you were commissioned to do an orchestral thing with was it the SPCO, the St. Paul Chamber
Yeah,
Orchestra?
twice. Yep.
Twice. So
Yep.
doing, bringing it into more of a classical music setting as well. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Wasn't there
there's,
choreography of some sort I saw in your bio as well? Like you.
Yeah, I won a Sage Cole Awards for choreography and dance.
Oh my gosh. Renaissance
Yeah,
woman
I just
here.
like art. I just like art. You
Uh,
know,
and
they just asked about
yes,
Juke Joy.
exactly. So, in addition to all the things we've just talked about, you also now are a radio host on Jazz
Yes,
88 KBEM here in Minneapolis.
absolutely.
And your show is Luca's Juke Joint. Yeah, Chris wants to know: do you have to like head out to host that, or are you pre-recorded that show?
I have pre-recorded my shows because I'm on sabbatical, so I
Yeah.
am not working
That's right. So
at all. So yep. So
But you
March
are.
8th. Yep, March
yeah,
8th. Yes, I am. But this, this isn't like the artwork and stuff. This is just stuff I love to do. This isn't like I don't get any, Sunday dread about having to do music. I don't.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a way different thing
Yeah.
than And this is beautiful to spend my sabbatical just doing something that I love so much and being able to talk about my music and take the time to be like, here's this thing, because it's like when I released this, then I released a doc, then I had the artist in residence with, the American Composer Forum, and I had all these other commissions and things, and it just flew by. And it didn't really feel like I got the chance to really celebrate Sovereign or Sovereign Suite in the way that it should be. And it's only been performed probably under 10 times.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Well, speaking of which, I want to make sure people know about the Sovereign Suite because, as you said, this kind of album, um, although it didn't kick off sort of this sovereign set of work, it definitely sort of kick-started a lot of it for you in terms of all these other things that happened, like the classical commissions and all these other things. But Sovereign Suites is your most recent release. Here in the back catalog, we like to talk about the old stuff, but we always want to mention the new stuff as well. So the Sovereign Suites, is there anything quick you want to say about it so we can let folks know about it?
Definitely. So the Sovereign Suite was a commission from the Schubert Club in partnership with the American Composer Forum, True Art Speaks, Purple Playground, Walker West Music Academy,
Wow.
myself, and the National Endowment for the Arts. And so I am coming up off of my residency this year with a commission for young people, which will be premiered at the Minnesota Convention Center this coming Saturday, February 17th. So I have a
Oh
whole
wow.
new permission. So all of this stuff that I've done, I basically wrote this music about it and about Black liberation and freedom and just change of life, all the things that are happening with the environment, like all these things. And I put it in this big, big piece called the Sovereign Suite, which is an hour and 15 minutes of music. And so Sovereign and Sovereign Suite are companion pieces, they're sibling pieces, and one asks the questions and one answers. And so it's a very spiritual piece and things that I talk to my ancestors a lot to bring a lot of this down into this into this piece, and I will be performing it and doing some showings and screenings of the documentary with the Minnesota History Center. I'll be doing some work with Minneapolis Institute of Arts. I will be having a big show to celebrate it at Ice House on April 26th, along with one of my greatest sister friends, Queen Dre, who is another musician and composer, who will be there at that as well. So like we're gonna just celebrate. I just figured if nobody's celebrating my work, then I just celebrate my work, and I will just call everybody and just
You
put all this
built it
stuff together.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're the architect. You design it,
Yep.
and
That's
you
right,
built
that's
it, and
right.
they will come, and they are
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah,
That's
they
for
are.
sure.
And if
That's
you're
all right.
in or around the Twin Cities area, head on over to PaviEllefrench.com to
Yes.
get all the details here on
Yes.
all
And-
these things happening.
And we should also mention that in addition to all of that stuff happening, on February 19th, if folks just want to see PaviElle in a more sort of stripped down format in terms of like, and maybe some new songs, she'll be joining me for my monthly Women Folk Radio
Yay.
concert series at the 331 Club in Northeast Minneapolis. And it's an early show at 6 p.m. And free. So there's no cover for that. But if you don't live in the Twin Cities, this is your chance to see PaviElle perform live, because we stream it live on the Women Folk Radio Show Facebook page, which we've included the link. We'll put it in the comments. But it's another great chance to check out PaviElle's music. But right now, I know the hour has gone really fast.
know,
but
I
are you cool with sticking around for one more song?
I am
Okay.
cool with that.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, then let's get one more song from Sovereign, because, as we said, this album deserves to be celebrated, and that's what we're all about in the Back Catalog Listening Party. Is celebrating this great art that maybe not enough people paid attention to, or which people need to be reminded about, because it's worthy of that. And before we do, though, we should thank our Patreon supporters. These are the folks that have kept this show going for 4 years now.
Jeez Louise.
I can't. Yeah, it's basically since when you were recording Sovereign, we were also filling up our time finding ways to connect with other musicians. We want to thank Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Alex, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead Pick and Parlor, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Many Checks, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Wiley, Stephanie, and maybe you, if you want to join our Patreon and support the work we do here on the Back Catalog Listening Party to support artists and celebrate all their beautiful art that they have put out into the world, put their soul, money, time into, that deserves to have more of a shelf life than a year. That's what we believe. So you can support it that way and get invited to special after parties, live streams, get the Founders Pint Glass. But mostly, we want to thank all of you for joining us today. And PaviElle, this has been so much fun.
It really has. This has been an amazing hour.
I'm talking so fast because I want to squeeze it all in, because we have not
I don't
gotten
know.
in
This
our
might
fourth
be a
song.
record, Ellen. Like hours have gone fast in the past, but
this-
never this fast.
Oh my gosh.
That's a testament to how wonderful this music is and the conversation.
Exactly.
Oh, it's been so fun, y'all. This is
Super
great.
fun.
Please have me back. And if you want to talk about other music, I'm with that too. You know.
Oh.
Okay.
You can join us anytime.
Okay.
We'll have you join us for one of our Patreon gatherings, because we need to talk music more with you.
Yeah, I have so many more questions, but folks, you're just going to have to head on to her website and find out where she's going to be next, and buy her records and support everything she's doing. We're going to close out our hour here with Hard Truths. This is PaviElle on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
It was the coldest May ever last year. I never cried so many tears. Brought to my lowest self, surrounded by my fear. It was a different kind of numbness that went through me. Why did you have to go when I needed you the most? 'Cause you left me on my own, baby. Yeah, bad enough the whole world shared. And now I'm living it without you. Long run, these are my hard truths. Long run, oh girl, it'll be better for you. Long run, to do what you gotta do and move on. Long run, it'll be better. No more back and forth when you walked out the door, decided to love can't disrespect myself for your ease and your comfort. I can admit that I still love you, but my boundary line is real strong. I will remember you forever, darling, and loving you was my heart's calling, but I'll accept moving on without you. These are my heart too long. Oh, in the long run, you gotta do what you gotta do and move on. Come on, it'll be better. Ooh, love, it will be better. Yes, it'll be better. Ooh, Lord, come on now. It will be better. These are my heart is true. I gave the best of me just to be a fool. My chains so caught up in the pain, I was afraid to lose these chains because it meant losing you. Yeah. Ooh, you were right, it's okay to let go. No animosity, it's all respect. Though we tried it out, I grieved, turned the page. Ooh, because I feel another light calling, a new love who is present all in. I finally see a silver lining. Long run, these are my heart. Long run, I'm gonna be better. Long run, long run, it'll be better. Long run, it will be better. I'm ready for a new life, new love, new everything. It'll be better. It'll be better, babe.
Ha ha.
These are my heart is true. I gave the best of me just to be a fool. My chains so caught up in the pain, I was afraid to lose these chains because it meant losing you.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
PaviElle with Hard Truths. Never did Hard Truths sound so sweet.
Thank
And
you.
that is from PaviElle's album Sovereign, came out in 2021, which we have been revisiting today with PaviElle joining us today on the back catalog
What
listening
an
party.
amazing hour. Holy moly.
Oh,
It's been so
much
good.
stuff. And Joni says bravo. And
Thank you,
folks
Joni.
loving the show. Connie, Chris, everyone, thank you so much for joining
Hey,
us today.
money.
And yay! And if you liked this hour as much as we did, as much as we know you did because of your comments, like it on YouTube. Give the thumbs up. Direct more bots to PaviElle. And you can also, if you haven't already, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel there because we do this every Friday. I mean, I can't say the hour is like this every Friday.
This is weird, some sort of, like time warp or something. It
Wow.
went so fast.
But we do invite wonderful artists on every Friday to revisit their old records with us and have a musical happy hour. So thank you for being a part of this week's really special hour. And yes, if you like it, you can go back and watch it on YouTube. You can share with your friends. It will also be archived at backcatalog.listeningparty.com with all the show notes, a link to the documentary, and all that good stuff. Oh, PaviElle, thank you so much for
Yes,
spending this
thank
hour
you.
plus with us.
Yeah.
My pleasure. My honor. This was wonderful. And let's please do it again. Let's
Yes.
please do it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, y'all.